In chapter 6, the teacher was exposing the ache of human dissatisfaction. However much we acquire or achieve, something seems to stay empty within us if we do not have relationship with God. And now in chapter 7, Solomon doesn't offer quick fixes. What he does in chapter 7 is that he gives a series of proverbs that are kind of subversive in their nature. That is to say, you expect the answer to be this, but the answer is actually that. And he does it again and again to show us actually that we often look in all the wrong places. We often ask all the wrong questions, and therefore we often receive all the wrong answers, which ought to make us a little bit more skeptical or suspicious of our own instincts and all the more reliant on God. Here are some subversions then. Which is better, to go to a house of feasting or a house of mourning? Obvious answer, right? The house of feasting. Solomon says, no, you got it wrong. What is better, frustration or laughter? You would say laughter, right? Solomon says, nope, you got it wrong again. It's a fascinating little section here where Solomon is observing the reality of life. Why would the house of mourning be better than the house of feasting? Because the house of mourning forces you to stop pretending. It confronts you with the realities that we spend most of our lives trying to avoid. Our mortality, our fragility, our inability to control the future. It drives you to God. At a feast, you can hide, you can ignore the truth. At the house of mourning, it is all the harder to do that. And the teacher says that is better for the soul. Again, he continues, which is better, frustration or laughter? Again, we say laughter, but the teacher says frustration, hardship, sorrow, trouble, toil. All of these things can do a deeper work in the human heart than comfort ever could. Laughter is pleasant, of course, but is fleeting. Frustration and toil, these things can really teach the soul. When you look back on the times when you really grew as a person and as a Christian, very often you will find yourself looking back on seasons that were very hard in the moment, but they strengthened you in ways that easy days rarely did. Do you see what Solomon is doing here? He's taking things that we naturally chase, comfort, pleasure, entertainment, ease, and he is saying these things, while they have their place, they will not make you wise. They will not shape you into being a person of real depth and truth. He continues the theme. Whose voice should you listen to? Someone who flatters you or someone who rebukes you? Certainly the fool would choose flattery, but Solomon says the rebuke of a wise person is better than the song of fools, because the song of fools is a song that sounds good to your itching ears. It entertains you, it strokes your ego, it pleases you. But the wise rebuke, however uncomfortable it may seem, is a gift. It humbles you, it redirects you, and it saves you from future sorrow. You see, chapter 7 is not simply a list of proverbs. It is a full frontal assault on our shallow, self-centered thinking. It is Solomon kind of gripping us by the shoulders and saying, stop trusting in your sinful instincts and stop looking inside to seek something that will eternally satisfy. Look higher. And why? Because all this entertainment under the sun cannot save. When feasting distracts us from God, when laughter numbs us from the real issues of life, when flattery keeps us from seeing the seriousness of our sin and coming to a place of genuine repentance, then all those things are extremely dangerous. Solomon here is being pastoral and profoundly loving. Sorrow, rebuke, loss, disappointment, frustration. These are often the places where God does his deepest work. So he's shown us that sorrow, frustration, rebuke are often better for us than ease and flattery. And now, to balance some of that sobering instruction, we get these words from verse 14. When times are good, be happy. But when times are bad, consider this. God has made the one as well as the other. Therefore, no one can discover anything about their future. So, when good days come your way, receive God's gift with gratitude. When the hard days come, don't wish them away too soon. They are sent by God as well, and they are sent for your sanctification. But we shouldn't panic, but we should pause, we should reflect, we should listen to God, and we should learn. Now, the fact that both of these kinds of days will come into our lives should remind us that we have very little power and no real predictive capacity to know what the future holds. The teacher reminds us that in a fallen world, there will be things that seem just outright unfair. He's seen righteous people perish in their youth. He has seen wicked people live long and luxury-filled lives. And so you cannot trust your own power. You cannot trust your own possessions. You cannot trust your own predictions even. Therefore, you must trust God. The good things are gifts from him, and the difficult days even drive us into his arms. When we approach life with wisdom, we will see both as a gift in their own way, and we will trust him through the good times and the bad.